It's the end of an era.
All the parties, the stories.
I'm gonna miss your smell.
You were my first.
What? I knew it. I knew
It's
it.
true.
Oh, man, I'm sorry I broke your leg.
I wrote a song. Sorry. Here we go.
Keep the good times going with the crisp, refreshing taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Whoa. Check out this new couch.
The Jeff Fisher Show, brought to you by Bud Light, Buffalo Wild Wings, Super Park, and Dobbs Tire and Auto.
Hey, welcome to the Jeff Fisher Show. Good Monday evening. How are you? We're out here at Buffalo Wild Wings in Creve Coeur. Alongside DeMarco Farr, I'm Steve Savard. We'll be taking your questions, comments. We'll take questions in-house. We do every week. Well, I shouldn't say we do. Jeff takes them every week. You take your phone calls, take them from Twitter, take them on text. We just take them. Hey, partner, how you doing?
I'm all right.
Disappointing day all the way around. Kind of a malaise.
A Paul?
Very down locker room, I think, for obvious reasons. And I think that everybody left the Dome feeling like, again, the Rams could have won that football game.
I have been there before in that locker room where you lose another one that you could have, should have, would have gotten, if not X, Y, and Z. And it's losses like this that could either make or break you. I know that sounds funny, but this is where people start to turn inward and start to care about themselves only. So it's really up to Jeff Fisher and the coaching staff to redirect and make sure everybody's on the same page. It's damaging, man. I mean, you come within 5 points of beating Seattle. You have the game in hand, and it gets out of hand on you in the Dome at home versus Tennessee. It's hard. You can't get away from it no matter where you go, because now the NFL starts to ramp up because baseball's over.
Right.
You know, basketball's beginning, hockey's in full swing or just beginning, but now it becomes football season. So they're starting to talk about good teams only, and you'll be hard pressed to find anybody talking about St. Louis outside of St. Louis.
There were several points in the game, though, that I really felt like the Rams were ready to take control, and I felt good about the outcome. I really did. And one of them was the first drive of the third quarter. And it's going down there. Zach Stacy pounds it in again. He's rolling. Seems like you've seized momentum at that point. And I know that's naive to think a 7-point. It was only a one-possession game, but I just had a feeling. Do you have that feeling? Do you have a feeling at other points of the game where you really felt like – I really felt like all the way up until the fumble and Chris Johnson gets loose, I still felt like it was the Rams' game to win.
You were in control most of the game. I mean, you had two bad drives, and they both started the half. The first drive by defense, the first defensive series wasn't very good. The first defensive series of the third quarter wasn't very good. And that's where you kind of lost it there, where you had a chance to put a stranglehold on the game and you let them back in. And, you know, the NFL's close. Even the bad teams are really, really good when you think about it. And if you let teams hang around, if you give them an opportunity to beat you, they're probably going to.
But, you know, Jeff Fisher's contention, the players' contention all week, the coach's contention all week was that this Tennessee Titans team doesn't get a lot of acclaim, but it's a better team than everybody thinks it is across the National Football League, and I'll buy that after seeing it tonight. They're solid. But I think two things happened. You mentioned it on the Fast Lane today. You got to give them credit for a couple of things. They changed their approach after halftime. 17 first-half passes, only 8 in the second half. All right, so you slowed the pass rush down. You ran the screens to slow it down as well when you did pass. And then I really think that game is a testament to the effectiveness of a Thunder and Lightning backfield. It is so difficult to go from defending a Chris Johnson to a Sean Green. And I give you the 19-yard touchdown run as an example. Sean Green doesn't. If he does break for the sideline, he doesn't get there. You can bring him down, right? You can bring him down. He might make 5, 6, or 7 yards, but you live to fight another day and maybe force a field goal. You get used to seeing Lynch and Gore and now Mendenhall in the division, and then here comes Chris Johnson after defending Sean Green. I thought it was a great adjustment that Tennessee made, but I think it's a luxury to have that kind of backfield.
It is. When you're using him as Lightning, Chris Johnson as the Lightning, the change of pace back, it makes it tough. It does kind of work on your mind because you're facing a bigger back in Sean Green. So the same run fits you have. If you're taking on a block with this shoulder and you're making tackles on Sean Green and you're going for a ride, it changes your mind. It changes your mentality. And then all of a sudden they slip in Chris Johnson. And you may not notice. You know, it's just a back or it's a personnel group. You put your hand down. You play that block the same way. and you're expecting the running back to run into you, and all of a sudden he runs away and you can't catch the guy.
Yeah.
It just changes it. And this is the thing with him, with Chris Johnson. You don't get a second chance.
Yeah.
If he's if he's in front of you or behind your defense, he's probably going to bump his head on the goalpost.
Even though it was tied at halftime at 7, I still felt good, though, too, because the Rams' front was getting after Jake Locker. They were not being blocked. Tennessee was having all kinds of problems. And you said it. You said where the problems would be, where the advantages would be on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and it played out in the first half. And I really felt like the Rams would continue to dominate. I thought it would be one of those games where they ended up with 6, 7, 8 sacks. They didn't get any in the second half.
No, I mean, there weren't opportunities in the second half to get there. They closed everything down. Like you said, they went to the screen game. I think what happened was there was a philosophical switch by the Titans. Before, they were trying to figure out what offense or what they were going to be identity-wise. They were going to try to throw it with Jake Locker and let Chris Johnson be the supplemental back or the supplementary weapon. I think they changed. They went back to handing the football off. This works better for us, and then we'll protect our quarterback, and we'll let him attempt nice, safe throws with screens and whatnot, and we'll just get it done with our offensive line. It's a shame that it worked. It's a shame that you gave the ball up a couple of times to give them the opportunity to run the ball at you.
Yeah, it's a shame also that you haven't been able to take advantage of Zach Stacy's back-to-back 100-yard games. This kid has been brilliant. I mean, brilliant. The running game was coming around even before Zach asserted himself 100%. But the last 2 weeks, he did everything possible for the Rams to win yesterday. His 32-yard run when he literally bounced off 3 guys.
Bumper car, yeah.
One was a Mike linebacker. Another was a very big strong safety.
Yeah.
The kid is really, really impressive.
There's not a lot to hit there.
No, I was telling my wife, we were talking about it last night. We were watching football, and we were talking about Zach. And I said, you want to go low, but you don't get to the legs.
Right.
You get shoulder pads and forearm before you get anything else.
How do you square up and run into a tree stump? I'm serious. How do you run and hit that thing
He's
square?
one of those guys, and we saw it with the safeties. He's one of those guys, a lot of times, you're going to be the hittee.
Yes.
And you're just going to bring him down, and he's going to fall over you. His style, you see it with Frank Gore. I think he's even more compact than Frank Gore when he runs.
And that's really compact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he hides himself in there, and the way he runs off tackle, it makes it a tough angle for a safety or linebacker coming in to get his head across the bow because there is no bow. He's all one person with, just the best thing to do is get in the hole and just hope he trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened a lot, fortunately. Kellen Clemens, I thought he acquitted himself well yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, he's got to hold on the football when he gets sacked.
It was a good play.
It was a good play.
Good play.
You're the one that told me that Jarrell Casey is the biggest problem they're going to have on the defensive line, and that was true from start to finish yesterday.
And they got the Rams. I mean, it seemed like they caught them out, man. It was a 2-man side, a guard and a tackle, and they brought a 3-man game to that side. So you had 2 guys pick up one, and Casey slipped right in through the B gap and got Kellen Clemens. Now, Kellen Clemens was stepping out of a lot of stuff, stepping up into the pocket and stepping out of a lot of pressure.
That's his style, though. He does that a lot.
And he almost stepped out of this one just in case he got his hand on the football and knocked the thing out. The thing that got me was the ball seemed to lay there for an hour.
Yeah, it always seems like that when you don't recover it.
Yeah, it just seems to lay there, and usually when that thing comes out, you may see 3 or 4 offensive linemen jump on it and try to, take a shot at it. It just wasn't meant to be.
He was the only guy. The other thing about that, Kellen wasn't afraid to throw a dart in there.
No.
The pass to Jared Cook, we mentioned, there was probably a better option open to his left. Was it Pettis?
Pettis was open over here. Yeah.
He was open. And Jared had 3 guys. But you know what? When you have confidence and you know where the guy's going to be and you can trust him, he laid it in there.
Yeah.
He laid it in there, and Jared made the catch, took a wallop. But that was a very, very nice play.
He threw that angry. He threw that one angry.
That was angry?
Yeah, he threw that one angry. That was like, father-son working on catching in the backyard, and you keep dropping them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to fire one at you and make sure you catch this one.
Yeah, and going back to the 100-yard game, you'd hope it would open up things more, in the passing game, even though Kellen did complete 20 of 35. But when you look down the sheet, Tavon Austin does not show up with a catch.
Yeah, that was odd. I thought at some point in the second half, you were still running the ball effectively,
yes,
but you could still try to run the ball through the air with Tavon Austin. Maybe it's a situation where you don't want to go away from what's working. But at some point, Tavon Austin's going to have to be a larger part of this offense to be successful.
Stedman Bailey, I liked his contribution. That was a terrific catch and run. Showed his athleticism, got about 5 or 6 yards after contact. And he continues to be a snootful as the gunner on special teams.
He's earned it.
Yeah, he's earned it.
He's earned every rep he gets on offense because he's played his tail off on special teams.
And it's kind of cool to see him getting integrated more in the offense. In fact, there were several times where he and Tavon was in the slot. They were split to the same side. It must have been like old times for those guys, minus the results. Obviously, they were killing people at West Virginia. That'll come. It'll come.
One thing about Tavon
It'll come
Austin,
for Tavon.
no receptions, but when he's out there, he's in every play.
I think so.
Even when he has to make blocks. He's a small guy, but he's got a big heart. He'll go after you.
He was a heel from being out of bounds from away from a play that probably would have turned the game around.
The back cleat just barely clipped the out of bounds.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll welcome in the head coach. We'll take your questions in Missouri, 969-0101 on the phone, or 399-0101 in Illinois. You can text us at 65780. Tweet us at Rams Radio with the hashtag Fisher Show. Back in a moment on the Jeff Fisher Show on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.
It's the end of an era.
All the parties, the stories.
I'm going to miss your smell.
You were my first.
What? I knew it. I knew
It's true.
Oh, man, I'm sorry I broke your leg.
I wrote a song. Sorry. Here we go.
Keep the good times going with the crisp, refreshing taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Whoa. Check out this new couch.
Welcome back. We'll welcome in the head coach in just a moment. I want to get your thoughts real quickly. Thank you. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Get your thoughts quickly on the Richie Incognito situation.
Oh, man.
Suspended indefinitely by the Dolphins. Tweets came out, emails, voicemails came out. Some vile voicemails reportedly that you can credit to Richie in terms of speaking to Jonathan Martin. What's your reaction to that?
Hey, he did it to himself. I don't think he should be playing in the National Football League. I think you've lost your right to play. The language he used, I wish I could say that I haven't heard that sort of stuff before, but I have from different guys. So we have one rule in the locker room. Either we all get to use that word or nobody gets to use it. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a nobody situation. No one gets to use that word. So I never thought they would actually be bullying in the NFL, but I guess I was actually wrong. But can't blame anybody but Richie.
Yeah, you'll probably be talking about that more in the fast lane this week and later. Let's welcome in head coach Jeff Fisher. Jeff, good evening. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good.
We're good.
Good.
We're good. Coming from an event. You guys had an event tonight?
Well, the organization is putting on their Taste of the NFL at the food bank, so the players are over there. A lot of good people, a lot of charitable people over there.
Good cause?
Yes, good cause. Yeah, good cause. Take care of a lot of needy people here in town.
All right. Your thoughts after reviewing film and talking to your football team today?
Turnover, 2 turnovers and a missed field goal. Pretty much, I think, the difference in the ball game. The missed field goal comes off a huge play that we make, in great field position, and you got to come away with some points. So that's pretty much the difference. We're disappointed in the run game, or run defense, but this was the big picture I talked about today. Is that they had 2 weeks. It was a very important game for them. They hadn't been running the football very well. We had 6 days, and there's a difference. And we just we got the run game going, and we just couldn't make the play that we needed to. After a couple series, in the ball game. So a lot of good things, though. I mean, saw a lot of good things.
What'd you like? Run down the things you liked.
We had a lot of really good defensive stops in the run game, okay? And then obviously, the 2 turnovers, I thought we got really good pressure when they threw it. They didn't throw it very much. Mm-hmm. And then on the offensive side of the ball, what can you say about our run game right now? It's working. So that's a tough defense scheme to run against, and we put up another 100-yard effort. So there was some good stuff there.
What makes that run game so effective for you? Is it
for us?
With Zach Stacy, is
Zach,
it him or is
it's a combination of everybody. It's the tight ends, of course, the offensive line, but also Zach and the fullback if we're using it. But I thought the staff did a great job getting creative. We're running a lot of different things, and so we move people around and they had slide their front, and then all of a sudden we come back this way, and then of course Zach, he hits it up there in the line of scrimmage, and it doesn't look good, but you look up at 2nd and 5.
Oh yeah. We were talking about there's no surface area.
Yeah.
You go low, you can't get anything besides shoulder pads and forearm.
Yeah.
On him.
And the big run, 32-yard run plus a penalty.
Special.
It's special, but it doesn't get started unless Tavon blocks the linebacker.
Little guy blocking the linebacker.
Yeah, the guy was so frustrated he punched him.
Well,
And then, we send that
might
to
be
New York.
bullying.
Yeah, we send that to New York. So, but
Speaking of Tavon, you got his running mate at West Virginia involved.
Yeah.
Stedman was on field and he's been getting some snaps, but a lot of snaps yesterday. And he came through for you with a nice yards after catch to set up one of your touchdowns.
yeah, he did. And, we're going to continue to increase his play time on the offensive side of the ball. So he's getting to where, he knows where to get to. He's a real good blocker, sure hands, very strong. Probably runs a slant really well in the offense when you need it.
Tough kid, too. I mean,
Yeah,
he
he's
continues
tough.
to play well as a
He
punter.
is. Oh, he's on all 4 teams.
Yeah.
He's a up back on the kickoff return, and then, he's doing the gunner thing, but he's also holding up. We're using him and Brandon McGee out there as hold-up guys on punt return. He's done a good job with that too.
he's earned every reception he gets from this point, from special teams.
Absolutely.
He's a tough kid.
Yeah, he is.
Defensing Chris Johnson. It seems like you can do well for most of the game, but it's 4 or 5 carries that could be the difference, that just bust out of there.
Well, it is, and with respect to whatever his struggles have been, I don't think it's been him. It's been the fact that he's not getting touches. They're just not they hadn't been handing it off to him.
You said that to me as far back as a year ago.
Yeah.
This time I asked you, is there something wrong in his game?
Yeah,
and you
there's
said,
nothing.
no, it's the scheme and the inability to get him involved.
Yeah, it is. And so they obviously worked on it during the bye week, and he got on edge a couple times. You got to be real firm on your edge to force him back. And then the other thing, if the defense gets cut, he's through the hole so fast. I mean, he's just we talked about last week. He's got such great quickness through the hole, and the angles have to change. So
They use that thunder and lightning very, very well, which is hard to adjust. Sean Green comes in on that 19-yard touchdown run. If that's Sean Green, if that's Marshawn Lynch, they may try to get to the corner, but you're going to live to fight another day and maybe force a field goal.
Oh yeah. No, I think he had. Sean had 9 or 10 carries. We were okay. Against him.
At halftime, I was telling DeMarco, it just seemed like I was confident, but it seemed like they could not stop your pass rush. I mean, you had 4 sacks and 17 attempts. That's a great ratio. I mean, it's 25%. You're putting the quarterback on the turf. So they made some adjustments. They just throw the ball, and then I thought the screen game also was effective for them.
Yeah, they had in the one drive they had one screen, and then they had one little max protect 2 men out route that they caught a shallow cross on. They turned it into a big play. So they're smart. They said we're not going to get our quarterback hit, and we still hit him. We just didn't sack him.
Right.
So and when they threw it was just real quick.
Kellen Clemens, another good day, or getting better?
He's getting better. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, you see his play. Extending plays, running for first downs, and and the throw to Cookie was great. Throw.
Fired it in there.
Dart. Yeah,
yeah,
it was a good throw. So used his eyes well in that play. Zone concepts, and there's just a little bitty window.
That was small.
We flared the back, and he looked them off, and he put it right there. It was great timing.
So when he's doing a good job extending plays, is it kind of hard to coach him out of that if you have one bad play like a turnover, when a guy gets his hand and just knocks the ball out?
No, I mean he all quarterbacks know they got to protect it in the pocket, and he was trying to sneak out, and he got swatted out. But when he gets out, he's accurate on the move. He can make the throws down the field.
Benny Cunningham commits a turnover. What do you say to a young man? What does Ben Sermon say to a young man like Benny?
Well, it's he took the handoff, and he had both hands on the ball, and in the process of separating his hands and tucking the ball, he lost it. That happens once in 1,000 carries. It just happened to happen then early in his career.
Right.
And he doesn't have a fumble history.
You said that today.
Yeah, he doesn't.
That's the worst part of that play. The best part was the hole was a mile wide.
Oh yeah, he's probably inside the 5, maybe make 31 miss, and he's in the end zone.
You went right back to him? Brian Schottenheimer went right back to him?
Yeah, that's what you do. You have to do that.
That doesn't shake your confidence in the young man?
No.
What's your confidence like in Greg right now, Zerline?
I'm fine with Greg. He's disappointed. He's been, his inaccuracy last year was 52, 53, and outside. Everything else was good. So, he's gonna keep working, keep kicking, but I'm fine with him. I would trust him to kick a game-winning field goal for me.
Johnny Hecker, your thoughts on his performance yesterday?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Yeah, I mean his net keeps getting higher and higher and higher. A 40-yard net's hard to come by. I don't know where it is. It's 42 or 43, something like that. and putting the ball on the boundaries and punting the ball like he should. Yeah, I was a little surprised that they kept that last punt in the field of play that Tavon went down the sideline.
Right,
that
because
surprised me.
like you had said, they've been adopting a philosophy where they're just going to knuckleball it short.
Yeah,
and they did that several times.
Well, no, he didn't. He knuckleballed, and when he was pooch punting, towards the end zone. But when we had him backed up and he let it go, Brett was kicked. He let him go. So that was good. Good for us. Good to see him down the sideline.
I actually thought you were going to let Johnny Hecker throw a pass when you broke formation on the punt.
Tried to draw him off sides. You knew that.
I know. You almost had me, though.
Yeah.
He kind of ran up there like he was a quarterback.
Yeah, he did. He's supposed to. Yeah.
Former quarterback. It's a pretty nice luxury to have a kid as athletic as he is.
Yeah, it is. Well, for those of our friends that come to practice during the week, you get to see him run scout team against our
come
defense.
Come to practice. You mean when you move it to 3 o'clock when I'm on the air?
Yes,
okay.
Right. All right, we'll take a break. We'll get to some questions, some phone calls, and maybe some in-house questions as well. We're coming back at the Jeff Fisher Show on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.
It's the end of an era.
All the parties, the stories.
I'm going to miss your smell.
You were my first.
What? I knew it. I knew
It's true.
Oh, man, I'm sorry I broke your leg.
I wrote a song. Sorry. Here we go.
Keep the good times going with the crisp, refreshing taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Whoa. Check out this new couch.
Welcome back to the Jeff Fisher Show. Good to have you with us tonight. Got some questions in-house. We're going to go to, I think it's Jody, right? Jody for Lori. I'm sorry.
That was close.
Okay.
Lori,
That was close.
wow. That was, I'm sorry. I apologize. But you know what? Your Tennessee Volunteers sweatshirt threw me off. So what can I say? I watched Mizzou clobber your team this Saturday night. So it's all right.
Coach Fisher, we've been really close the last couple of games. I think we outplayed Seattle. I was at that game. What do you think it's going to take to get us over the hump?
Well, we just need to play better, in the early part, mid part of the game, and not put ourselves in a position to catch up. And that really, what you do that by not turning the football over. And last week against Seattle, we didn't get the offensive production. We had yards and we had rushing yards, but we didn't get the points. Last week, against Tennessee, we got the points. And the defense didn't work. So we got, we're close. We're real close. So our guys they understand what they need to do, and we just got to figure a way to do it. So, and
Lori,
good luck this week against Auburn too.
He knows.
You got a rooting interest in that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you don't get any weeks. That's the thing about the SEC. I mean, you were down there in the heart of it. They're just. You don't get weeks off.
No.
I mean, when you win a national championship, do what Nick Saban's done Alabama week after week and beat, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, the teams that they beat consistently over the last few years. Yes.
Wow.
Impressive.
All right. Ferd, how are you?
Fine, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Coach, over the years, we've had a lot of penalties. It seems like every time the Rams get a good play, whether it be offense or defense, the first thing the people that sit in the stands around me say, check for flags. Last Monday night when we played Seattle, I looked at the scoreboard, 10 minutes, 24 seconds left. In the first period, we had 3 penalties. Yesterday, in the first period, looked at the board again. We had 3 penalties, and there was less than 3 minutes played already.
We had 3 penalties in the first drive yesterday.
What are we going to do about them?
We had 6 total penalties yesterday. We just happened to have 3 in the first drive, and those penalties did not. This is my issue with the penalties. The penalties that don't have anything to do with the play, the false starts, the defensive offsides, those kind of things, those penalties you can control. The penalties that are called during the course of a game are hard to control. 60% of your penalties are those that have nothing to do with the play, the things that happen after the play or false starts and offsides. Our focus has been since the start of the season to eliminate those, and we have done a good job with those penalties. The 3 penalties that we had in the first drive, we had horse collar, And that's the only chance of getting that speed back down, number one. We had a hands to the face, which happens on defense sometimes. And then we had a hold called on court, which was not, in my opinion, was not a hold. So anyway, we address them. Seattle had more penalties than we did. And I don't look what you had there, but we had 6. I think they had 3. And probably should have had about 5 whole offensive holding penalties. Yeah. So, but I appreciate it. Yeah. And what we've talked about in our return game to our team, we've talked to our special teams guys that when we do have a big run, don't turn and look for flags. Because if you turn and look for flags, you're
self-fulfilling prophecy there. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Ferd, and thank you, Lori. I got it right. Lori. All right. Here's some questions, Jeff, from online. Joe Barksdale. Matt asks, Joe Barksdale's been impressive. How is his future shaping up with the Rams?
Joe's done a nice job. Roger went down, Joe stepped in. Joe stepped in last year, Bolton played both tackles, so he's done a nice job so far. We're gonna start increasing Roger's reps, however. Roger's back, he's powerful, he's moving people, and he's feeling good. So we're gonna probably split time or figure something out there.
Here's a text question. Sam Bradford seemed very vocal on the sideline. How involved has he been? And I assume they mean since the injury.
Yeah, he's been very involved. He's not missed a practice nor a meeting. He's on the sideline. He gets the call. He gets the same call that Kel's getting in the huddle. He gets it in the earpiece, so he's able to follow the flow of the game and help Kel when he needs to.
And he's having surgery tomorrow.
He is not. No.
Oh, okay.
We originally scheduled it for tomorrow.
Okay.
But we're going to wait a little, maybe a week or 2 longer right now.
What's interesting, and I just had a very brief conversation with him on Friday about it, is that how much work, he said, I didn't know that, how much work is done before you have surgery. And that's something fairly new, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the last maybe 5 to 8 years, what happens is you've got trauma in the joint, you got a lot of swelling in the joint. Okay, you got to get swelling out of the joint. The thigh actually will react, and you need to build the thigh back up, work on flexibility, get the maximum strength you can in the leg, hip area. And then make sure all the swelling's out and then go do it. Because as soon as, back in the old days, you put a cast on it and you walk around for 6 months with a cast on it, and have everybody sign your cast, right?
Yeah.
Now he's working range of motion, as soon as he comes out of recovery.
And they say that's the most painful part. The first week or 2 is really, but knowing Sam, he's going to get after it.
Yeah, he'll be good.
I wonder how an injury like that affects him. He's a mobile guy. He can move, but he's not a zone read quarterback type that's going to sprint down the field for 4 quarters.
No, I mean, there's no reason why he won't come back 100% from this. I mean, Palmer did, Brady did, all those guys did.
The one thing I noticed about him, you say he's not the read option, but late as he got more comfortable with his offensive line last year, we saw it, and then this year. In fact, until Zach ran for 32, he had the longest run at 23 this year. He was getting out of the pocket and running for first downs more and more since probably week 8 or 10 last year.
We encourage them to, when they recognize the appropriate coverage deployment, we encourage them to go take off and run. Yeah, because what happens is the coverage that they're using, the backs are turned, the guys are running down the field, and it's a difficult coverage to attack through the air. So take off and run and get them out of the coverage.
This next question is very appropriate given the timing of the previous one. Kellen Clemens seems to enjoy being a mobile quarterback. Any interest in taking advantage of that?
We have been. You've seen him out on the bootlegs and the nakeds, and you've seen him, pull the ball down, run for first down. So we're going to continue to do so. Yeah, he got whacked a little late, didn't you think? When he slid,
we had an argument.
Not an argument, a discussion.
No, we had a disagreement. I'm normally with DeMarco is that they're calling the game a little close. I thought the player in question had plenty of time to pull off, and I also thought that there was an elbow to the head.
Yes, there was.
So
there was an elbow to the helmet.
I don't know if it was completely deliberate, but anytime you go to a sliding quarterback's head, 9 times out of 10 you're going to call.
Well, what happened is you're so used to seeing it called.
That's it.
When you don't see it called, it's confusing. Now, Kel said that Pollard came up to him after the game and apologized.
that's
for hitting
new.
him late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
good.
have respect for that. I can respect that.
Yeah, and most of the time, Jeff, I err on the side of, look, it's a split-second thing,
Yeah,
and
it
a
is.
guy's going.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't pull off.
You're already committed.
You're committed,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
can't pull off, and it's inevitable. And I do think lately, I think there's been more common sense judgment from referees most of the time in understanding that, officials understanding and not flagging. We just happen to disagree. I thought there was enough time for him to pull off.
Yeah.
I thought he had declared before Bernard started his movement.
Yeah, there was enough time for him not to load up and put an elbow in his ear. Yeah.
Should have been called. What about the Austin Pettis one when Pollard made the play on the
I
football?
don't think
Austin Pettis got
yeah.
tangled up there.
Yeah, legs tangled, not a foul. As long as you're trying to play the ball, it's really not a foul.
And the last play into the end zone?
I didn't see much there
Okay.
no, either. Yeah, I mean, they grabbed Tavon. We had an incomplete third down, 3rd and 5, and Tavon's around the corner, and he's completely turned around. Ball went incomplete because he was primary, and Kel came off it, threw it incomplete, and I was a little frustrated at that one.
Well, I hate to even talking about things that could have been penalties, but I thought the Chris Johnson touchdown, I thought Darian Stewart got held.
He did. On the
And
court,
spun around.
If you get a chance to look at the touchdown run, his Locker's touchdown run,
Yeah.
look at our right defensive end. Wow.
Okay.
Bruce just kind of got him in a headlock and took him to the ground.
That's
I thought
not
that,
legal.
I thought that was holding.
That should be holding. Okay.
The final play to Austin, it's first of all, it's a low percentage play. All right, I don't know what the percentage of completing that pass on a 4th down from what yard line was it? 20-something yard line. It's low. I thought he at least gave his receiver a chance
He did.
to make the play.
Yeah, he did.
It would have taken a spectacular catch, but he at least gave his receiver. Is that the way you saw it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, gosh, the ball could have gone to the ground, got it back in the end zone, gone someplace else, knocked down. He could have got sacked. It's 4th down. You know, put the ball somewhere across the goal line, give someone a chance to catch it.
Yeah. One other one. Here's a tweet. What are the goals for the rest of the season? Paul wants to know.
Really short-term Wednesday practice preparation, get ready for the Colts, and do everything we can to go there and come back with a win. And then we got some work to do in the bye week. We'll work on some things that we need to improve upon, and then we're going to keep playing hard. You know, we're just going to play hard. Stead's going to play a little bit more, and we're going to probably get Quickie involved a little bit more, and stand behind Kel, play good defense, and win some ball games.
We will talk about the matchup against the Colts coming up Sunday in Indy when we come back on the Jeff Fisher Show on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams radio network.
It's the end of an era.
All the parties, the stories.
I'm going to miss your smell.
You were my first.
What? I knew it. I knew
It's
it.
true.
Oh, man, I'm sorry I broke your leg.
I wrote a song. Sorry. Here we go.
Keep the good times going with the crisp, refreshing taste of Bud Light. Here we go.
Whoa. Check out this new couch.
Welcome back on the Jeff Fisher Show. We're going to look ahead to the Colts matchup Sunday in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. Did you get a chance to see much of the game last night? You did.
I did, yeah. I didn't listen to it. I went back to the office and watched our stuff last night.
Right. So you've caught up. But interesting, before we get into your thoughts, I'm sure you understand the schedule the head coach keeps. Gary Kubiak faints at halftime. Mm-hmm. We're told he put in extra hours this week to get Case Keenum going. You can understand that. I mean, it's a difficult workload.
Yeah, it is. All indications are that Gary's okay.
Yes.
That's what we're hearing so far. Dehydration, what have you. But yeah, it's and then the emotion. It's an emotional game. You can see how that might happen. But so then of course they have to go do the exhaustive examination testing, everything, make sure he's okay.
Yeah. You know him well, don't you?
Yeah. Since I've known since his Denver days with Mike Shanahan. He came there from Denver, and then of course Foxy too.
Oh boy,
John, our buddies. I text John and he said, "I'm cool. I'll be fine. I'll be back in a couple of days." He said. So
it's going to take a little more than that.
Maybe a week or so.
I think they're going to replace a valve, a heart valve.
Yeah,
That's
what
what the diagnosis is.
Yeah.
But so I think he's done a great job. Everywhere he's been, he does a great job.
He's a good coach.
You guys both have something in common, though. You had one of the most amazing season turnarounds. He did it in Carolina with a team that was ravaged by injuries one year. They started, I believe, 1-7. got to 7-9, and almost pulled out a playoff spot, which is really ridiculous. You did it in 09. You started 06, 0-6. Didn't you go 8-8?
Yeah.
So
missed playoffs by a game. Yeah.
How do you take a team? How did that unfold when you
well,
look
things
back?
fall into place. You don't do it by making radical changes. You have to keep doing what you're doing, because if you change, then your philosophy wasn't right to begin with, and then you would say, well, why didn't you do that to start? So you have to keep doing what you believe in, and that's what we do. I mean, we did the same things when we were 0-6, when I had a 10-0 run down there. Same practice philosophy, same this, same that. Just
stay consistent.
Stay consistent. It's the biggest thing.
Last night's game was interesting. It was all Houston in the first half, and then Indianapolis came back and turned it around. What stands out to you about the Indianapolis Colts right now?
Well, the big thing, just starting to get to know him, is that they're saying that 10 of his wins will come from behind wins. He's only been in the league for how many games? 17 and 24. So in 10 of the 24 games that Andrew Luck has played in, he's come from behind and won at the end. So no lead is too big or safe.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the skill set that, do you consider him special? He was considered one of those guys, like Sam when he came out, that you don't pass on.
Right. Yeah, he is. And again, early in the week, I have to look. I haven't really. I didn't really study him last year in preseason, really didn't. But all the highlights and stuff. Yeah, he's very smart. He's tall. He sees. Okay, he's smart. He trusts his decisions and knows where to go with the football. And when he can't, he can run. And that's the thing he does very well, is pull the ball down and run.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, he is.
Big dude getting out there. But it helps that you have a pretty good pass rush coming after. Robert Quinn having a good year. Chris Long coming along. Run game is what it is. It happened. Chris Johnson got out. But for the most part, when it's time to get after the passer, you can.
When it's time to rush, we can rush. And we don't necessarily have to bring others in addition to the four. We can rush. Now, you come after Andrew. He knows. He's smart enough to know that we're bringing somebody. We had one of the sacks, one of our early sacks. Our plan against them was to make sure that on occasion we filled up the rush lane, so overload and stuff. And Eugene supposed to hit the A gap, hits the B gap. So I got Eugene and Court in the B gap, and Court sneaks through, and has a hit on the quarterback. We come back and do the same thing, and we got a sack. So we did, but the difference is I don't know that Locker recognized it, where Luck's going to see it like that.
A better athlete than the kid's a good athlete. Yeah. He can roll. Got some emerging talent too. T.Y. Hilton, really a good young player at wide receiver.
Yeah, Florida International, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Florida International? Yeah, outstanding return man. Knock on him there was the fumbles per touches. It was like one fumble for every 7 touches down there. He's obviously got that fixed. He can run, and they've done a really good job with him. And you've got the tight end there. And then of course, Richardson's always he's going to be he's a load. He's a handful. So that was a good trade for them.
Defensively, they have the leading sacker in the NFL, and Robert Mathis.
You know him.
He's been there for a while.
Loves now playing the right side, apparently, where Dwight Freeney was for almost a decade. But Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator, very aggressive, is he not?
Yes, a lot of movement, a lot of ever-changing looks, and aggressive, and the whole defense is that way. The corners line up, and they challenge you, and they press you, and you got corners that people never even heard of before playing really, really good football.
Do you anticipate Mathis staying on the right side with Jake, or do you think they're going to flip-flop and look for any advantage they can get?
I could see him moving around in Russian situations, yeah.
What makes him so good? You've had a lot of experience.
Just his quickness. He's got quickness. He's a great hand fighter. Can really dip.
Looks like he takes good angles off the edge, like Robert. Can turn a corner like a lot of guys can't.
And he's always got a plan too. He's always got a plan. That's he's probably got a really good inside move too.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, have those kind of numbers.
Kellen is obviously the starting quarterback. Have you been able to get Austin enough reps? at this point? I mean, it's never enough with a backup quarterback, but do you feel comfortable a little bit more now that he's been here a couple of weeks?
Yeah, much better. Yeah, than week 1. Week 2 was better than week 1. Yeah, and I think, with him in the system, and he'll be there on his day off as they're planning, and he spends all the extra time, he'll have a good understanding.
The thing we didn't talk about was Zach had injured his ankle in Monday night. Okay, it was a short week. You mentioned It was a muscle behind his ankle. Wasn't an ankle sprain. He didn't show any effects of that yesterday.
No, he didn't.
I mean, I was expecting him to be somewhat limited.
Yeah, no, he was
that
full speed, 100%. So now he's, as you can imagine, with what he's done the last 5 weeks, he's a little sore, a little banged up. So we may have to give him a day off this week, but we'll get him back.
But look who he's done it against.
Yeah.
Yeah, some really good defenses.
Yeah.
That probably knew he was getting the rock
Well,
when he got it.
Did I mention the Georgia-Florida comment that he made? No. Well, it was a couple weeks ago. He was talking to our trainer, and he said, "How you doing?" He goes, "Man, I feel like I just played Georgia and Florida." I said, because he was a Vandy,
Right.
And I said, you're going to play Georgia and Florida every weekend.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the SEC's one thing, the NFL is another.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, we'll let you go. Get back to work.
Guys, good. Have a
how
good
about a
week.
hand for Jeff Fisher? We appreciate it. Thank you, Jeff. Ham's head coach going back to work on a game plan to take on the Indianapolis Colts. Looking forward to it.
Practice keeps, around 11 o'clock.
Looking forward to it. He just said going to give him a day off, though. As a former player, though,
yeah,
that's what the guys all talk about, is the fact that he's in touch with what they need. You get that, don't you?
He gets it. We went through this with Coach Brooks. We went through this with Coach Vermeil before he started understanding and listening to us, that sometimes keeping a schedule, keeping the same schedule, keeping everything the same is detrimental to your football team. Sometimes letting guys sleep in.
You got to know.
For the extra couple of hours means the world, and he gets it.
All right, looking forward to it. Sunday, the Rams taking on Andrew Luck and the Colts at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. I want to thank everyone for being out here. Thank you guys for listening at home, in your car. Thanks for giving us the questions. For Dodie Rahman, Chris Files, Michelle Smallman, DeMarco Farr, I'm Steve Savard. Have a great night. This has been the Jeff Fisher Show on 101 ESPN and the St. Louis Rams Radio Network.